Replacing and cleaning the clutch and brake cable of a motorbike. Hello and welcome to this session on replacing and cleaning the clutch and brake cable of a motorbike. A clutch is provided to engage and disengage engine power to and from the transmission system. When the clutch lever is pulled, the power is not transferred from the engine to the wheels. The clutch lever is connected to the transmission via a clutch cable. This clutch cable needs to be inspected and replaced or cleaned as required because it is a vital component of the transmission system. The brake cable also functions in a similar manner. The front brake of a two-wheeler is controlled by the brake lever at the left side of the handle. The lever is connected to the brake system by a brake cable. The cable needs lubrication at frequent intervals and needs to be replaced when damaged. It is one of the most important parts of the vehicle. In this session, we will learn the process of replacing and cleaning the clutch and brake cables. Before we discuss the procedure of cleaning and replacing a clutch cable, let's take a look at the tools and materials required, which are double-ended spanner set, adjustable spanner, common pliers, needle nose pliers, tools tray, parts tray, grease, oil, wiping cloth, and ruler. Let us now take a look at the steps involved in replacing the clutch cable. Park the vehicle on a firm, flat surface. Remove the side panel if necessary and locate the clutch cable holder a few centimeters above the clutch arm on the right side of the crankcase. It may be behind the right side panel or next to it on the frame. Loosen the lock nut using two spanners, one for the lock nut and one for the adjustment nut. Next, loosen the adjustment nut sufficiently in order to unhook the end of the inner cable from the clutch arm on the crankcase. The slack in the cable will now allow you to remove the other end from the left handlebar clutch lever. First, pull the cable sheath away from the lever until the core is visible. Gently pull the end of the core toward the front wheel until it lines up with the slot on the bottom of the lever. Now, pull the core and the round end through the slot. The cable is now free and can be pulled out through several routing holes below the speedometer and other cable clamps or the loops. After removing the cable, wipe it clean with a cloth and examine it for kinks, damage, or deterioration. Push and pull the core to assure it moves freely. Lubricate the cable with a small amount of grease on the core of both ends. Pull one end to expose as much of the core as possible and grease it. Do the same with the other end. Note: the grease not only lubricates the cable, it also prevents moisture from entering and rust formation. If the cable is damaged or in poor condition, replace it with another one. Refit the cable by threading it through the holders, clamps, or holes as before. Connect the clutch lever end first, then the bottom end. Check the play at the end of the clutch lever. A lot of play results in clutch drag and stiffness in operating the shift pedal. Too little play, however, results in clutch slippage. Fix the adjustment screw to the required play. When the clutch play is not adjusted as prescribed, correct this using the adjuster located at the lower end of the cable. If specifications are not available, a small amount of free play at the beginning of the lever pull is needed to fully engage the clutch, approximately 10% of the total lever movement. Loosen the lock nut and turn the adjuster nut to adjust play. After adjustment is complete, hold the adjuster nut securely while tightening the lock nut using 2 spanners. If you have removed the side panel, then you need to fix it back at this point. Now let's look into the procedure for replacing a front brake cable. First of all, loosen the lock nut at the wheel end of the brake cable where it is attached to the brake arm. Pull the cable through the pivot pin of the arm. Place the pivot pin in the parts tray. Pull gently on the rubber sheath where the cable passes through the cable holder on the wheel. On some models, this can be found below the speedometer cable. This exposes the cable core, which can now be pulled through the slot in the cable holder and frees the bottom end of the cable. The slack in the cable now allows the upper end of the cable at the brake lever to be pulled out enough to expose the core. As with the clutch cable, rotate the cable 90 degrees toward the front wheel and pull the core through the slot in the underside of the lever. The pivot end of the cable should slide out with little effort. The entire cable is now loose. Pull it out, noting how the cable is routed close to the frame for reinstallation. Wipe the cable clean with a cloth and lubricate it the same as the clutch cable. Inspect it for damage, kinks, and deterioration. Slide the core in and out several times. It should slide freely. If it is damaged, replace it with a new one. Install the brake cable by rerouting it the way it was removed. Connect the upper end to the brake lever first, then the lower end in reverse order to when you removed it. The lock nut goes on last and is used to adjust the free play in the cable. The brake should engage when the lever is in about 10%. It is important that the front wheel spins freely when the lever is out, or the brake shoes will wear out rapidly. With that, we have come to the end of this session. In this session, we have learned how to clean and replace a brake cable and clutch cable of a motorbike. Hope you have enjoyed this session. Thank you.